reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, whatever your mind conceive that you will achieve, all you got to do is just believe that I'm here. And I want to extend greetings to all my Straight Talk family all around the world, because we are on the World Wide Web. And I reach and I communicate with you wherever you are in or on this globe. And I say greetings to all of you. And I say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and to my Straight Talk family throughout the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian, Nevision, and Caribbean diaspora, I say greetings to all those who are locked on. I know that some of you are in Africa. There are some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. I will also say good morning. And I can and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And those of you who may be first timers, I want to welcome you to this edition of Straight Talk, and to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum, as I said, to express yourselves freely. And on this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I always hasten to pledge that I will remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And I'm always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine written by Franz Joseph Haydn, I think it is, and Thomas Jackson. And it goes something like this. An excerpt from it goes something like this. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, and bringing all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, I can also show you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never try to make it more interesting, not by omission or exaggeration. Because Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, especially if that has to come at the expense of accuracy. Because we lean always on the facts, as it's my bounden duty to present what I always call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, accountability, wherever you are in the globe. Because we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. And we are joined together with people across our federation. But my Straight Talk family, again, welcome. And I had a little tardy start. And I must apologize for that. Let's thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. For the first timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. And by that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails at some stage in this episode, and the numbers are on your screens. There's a local number and there's an overseas number. And we all also have access by our WhatsApp. I keep forgetting to remind you of that. But it is always an imperative as well for me to welcome my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. I must hail young Dwayne. I must hail Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Jasmine, Travis Trevon, did I call that name? And how can I forget my own grandson Neymar and his and Soraya, also Elizabeth, and that special lady in St. Louis. The Nice Straight Talk family, on a sad note, on a very sad note, Straight Talk announces the passing or the death of Hugh Heiliger. I call him Professor Hugh Heiliger, a prominent politician, educator, economist, and a former senior member of the People's Action Movement. Hugh once served as director of the planning unit, the government planning unit, and helped to shape national development policy. He served with the Simmons administration as Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and Development, I think it was, and at one stage served as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education. And after leaving frontline politics, Hugh Heiliger continued to contribute to national development as a lecturer in economics at the Clarence Fitzroy Brand College, mentoring many young Kittitians and Nevisians. And widely regarded as one of the key figures in our post-independence political history in St. Kitts and Nevis, Hugh Heiliger will be remembered for his work in economic planning, agriculture, education, and public service. I wonder if these experts ever reached out to Hugh to get some advice, and free advice. He always had some advice to give. But Straight Talk extends profound condolences to his children, his brothers, his entire family, and pray that his soul will rest in eternal peace. I know that there are some other obituaries, but I'll have to deal with them because I don't have all the facts. I like to deal with the facts, my Straight Talk family. But as usual, we begin as well with our observations in review, which are an integral part of Straight Talk. Then we'll move into my thesis. Following my thesis, I will include your calls, your emails, as mentioned earlier, to allow for full participation. Yes, on this program, you get an opportunity to have your say. And our observations in review, we use that opportunity to highlight the current issues and do some reflection. We may then ask a few questions. And after our observations in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, Will Destiny Cause the End of the Kingmaker? So don't change your platform, don't change your link, just spread the word that Straight Talk is live. And our first observation, I make reference to our National Museum, if it still is our National Museum. What you're viewing on your screens, on your monitors, is a current picture of the National Museum in the historic old Treasury building that has remained closed for an extended period since 20 23, leaving many citizens to question whether the preservation of our national heritage is a priority for Terence Michael Drew and his administration. The notice mounted on the rotten hoarding and their rottening is by the St. Christopher National Trust solicits a pardon for the appearance. Let me bring that notice to you. On that screen, on that hoarding, and there's this notice soliciting pardon our appearance, as it says, and I quote, while we prepare to serve you better. And that's mounted, as I said, on the hoarding. That's the fencing. Let me say fencing for those who don't understand the hoarding. But to fence out anybody and to have the scaffolding once you're working to ensure that nobody meaning the public gets damaged. They actually enclose the property by this wooden fencing, as it's called, hoarding. And that's what the notice says. But regardless of the reasons for the delays, the prolonged closure has created the perception of neglect and has denied residents and visitors alike access to one of the country's most important historical institutions. The irony, however, has not been lost on the public. While the National Museum in the historic Old Treasury Building remains closed and inaccessible for now going on 3 years, Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet have shifted their attention to constructing a new museum at the former Fort Thomas Hotel site. Late last year, in 2025, Terence Michael Drew led the groundbreaking ceremony for what we later learned was the Symbol of Love Museum, my Street Dog family. And you can see here Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet members turning the sun to indicate the start of that project. An artist's impression was circulated for the Symbol of Love Museum. And we can report that work at the site is going apace. Unfortunate though, the labor force has been imported from India, who sadly are living on site. I made mention of this before, in squalid conditions. What you see in there with that green cover or cloth is the makeshift bathrooms for these workers. But this decision has sparked vigorous debate, with many asking a simple question: why build a new museum when the nation's existing museum, one of our most important heritage landmarks, has yet to be fully restored and reopened, my Straight Dog family? This is what we have of it. Why build a new one and leave this museum, our most important heritage landmark, to be restored and reopened? And to many, the issue is not whether St. Kitts Nevis deserves a world-class museum. The issue is whether the government has demonstrated the commitment to preserve and utilize the heritage assets it already possesses before embarking on an entirely new project. But that tells you the mindset of Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet, my Straight Dog family. And our second observation, charge appears from the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago, Michael Fitzpatrick, says that the $500 million investment on its new embassy campus in Trinidad and Tobago signals confidence that the United States have vested in that Trinidad and Tobago government, my Straight Dog family.
I want to particularly thank Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Minister Geraldine Jeong, and many others in this administration for their leadership in bringing about renewed interest in new partnerships between American and Trinidadian companies. We believe in Trinidad and Tobago. The U.S. government is currently investing $500 million on a large new embassy campus. Many of you were with me and our team at the last official function at the Shutter Country Club in January 2025. Our new embassy is a symbol of our commitment, not just to diplomacy, but to partnership, prosperity, and to the decades ahead.
And my Straight Dog family, speaking at AmCham's AGM, the charge d'affaires described the project as a major signal of Washington's long-term commitment to Trinidad and Tobago as a strategic regional partner, underscoring both the scale and significance of the investment, $500 million. And the AmCham AGM is the annual general meeting of the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago. And my third observation, I asked the question, does the Investment Gateway Summit risk becoming an exercise in public relations rather than a genuine celebration of success? And the Investment Gateway Summit, Straight Talk just learned today, based on this invitation from the Prime Minister, it will begin on Wednesday, the 17th of June.
My fellow citizens, partners, and friends, I invite you to join us in St. Kitts and Nevis from June 17th to 20th for the Investment Gateway Summit 2026, held under the theme Shared Values, Shared Futures, Building Tomorrow's Global Community. This is a national moment and an opportunity for us to connect, to build, and to move forward together as one people. Wherever you are in the world, I encourage you to come home, not just in presence, but in purpose, to deepen your relationship with the nation you choose and to embrace your place in our shared story.
And my Straight Dog family, that's an invitation to come home. We can only speculate. The invitation is extended to the thousands of petitions and divisions, particularly our economic citizens. But when I mention exercise in public relations, I made that comment in the context that when a country's passport loses another visa-free destination only days before investors gather to hear about the strength and attractiveness of its citizenship program, the optics, I'm sure you will agree, are difficult to ignore. The government cannot simply host a summit and hope that inconvenient international developments will disappear. Because just a few days ago, my Straight Talk family, this release came from the government of Ireland. And the press release is on your screens. The caption, Minister Brophy announces new visa requirements. And if we quickly scan and perhaps read it, Minister for Migration Colm Brophy has announced with effect from Monday 15th, that is today, Monday 15 June 2026, nationals of Nicaragua, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia will be required to obtain a visa before traveling to Ireland. And this also applies to the holders of diplomatic and service passports. A transit visa will be also required if intending to transit through Ireland en route to another destination. And it continues. The new visa requirement for nationals of Nicaragua, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia is part of an ongoing process to keep Ireland aligned with practices in the United Kingdom and the Schengen area. And my Straight Talk family, that is not good news for St. Kitts and Nevis. But yet, 2 days after, or the same day rather, we get this invitation to attend the Investment Gateway Summit. And this release makes the Investment Gateway Summit look like a farce. And it's so badly handled that it becomes laughable. Because investors expect transparency. Investors expect credibility. Investors expect confidence, not carefully staged optimism, while the value proposition they are being asked to buy is under increasing international scrutiny. But when it comes to transparency, our Prime Minister said nothing about the imposition of the visa requirement. But thank God, Philippe of St. Lucia, whose country suffers the same fate, told us this.
The government of St. Lucia received official notification from the Embassy of Ireland in Ottawa, Canada, on Friday, June 12, 2026, informing that with effect from Monday, June 15, 2026, nationals of St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Nicaragua will require entry visas for entry into Ireland. This visa introduction applies to holders of ordinary, diplomatic, and service passports. Transit visas will also be required for St. Lucia nationals intending to transit through Ireland. Transitional arrangements will be in place for nationals of St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Nicaragua who have already booked travel to Ireland before June 15, 2026, and will enter and depart from Ireland before July 14, 2026, provided that they are in possession of the requisite travel documents. This includes a valid passport and airline tickets. Nationals who have existing travel arrangements to Ireland are advised to check the Immigration Service Delivery website for further information. Reason: the introduction of this visa requirement on St. Lucian nationals is part of an ongoing process to keep Ireland aligned with the practices in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Northern Ireland and the Schengen area. Costs: the standard Irish visa application fees are single entry $100 Canadian, multiple entry $165 Canadian, transit visa $45 Canadian. Applicants will be required to courier the documents to the Embassy of Ireland in Ottawa, Canada for processing. Processing time is estimated at 8 to 10 weeks for all visa categories.
And my Straight Talk family, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, transparent and accountable to his people, and at the same time providing us that information that our Prime Minister has kept to his chest, and tells us about the Investment Gateway Summit. And that release was dated the 11th of June. According to Philippe, his office received that information on the 12th of June. My Street Dog family. But those are my observations for tonight, and I move right into my thesis, which I have titled, as mentioned earlier, Will Destiny Cause the End of the Kingmaker? And my Street Talk family, I mean, in Straight Talk, has been hearing quite a lot of rumors, speculation, as it relates to the Destiny Project on Nevis. And I believe we have an obligation to ensure that this is kept on the front burner, so no hanky-panky would go on when they think that the people are not looking and observing. Some years ago, Mark Brantley stood on a political platform in Barbados and forewarned us here in St. Kitts and Nevis that the CCM would be the kingmaker. Back then, in 2019, he referred to the 2020 elections.
I bring you, of course, greetings and well wishes from the Concerned Citizens Movement Party that I'm privileged to lead at this point in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are, compared to you, a young party of just 33 years, based on my beloved island of Nevis. But currently, we hold a delicate balance of power, with our seats contributed to create and sustain in office the Team Unity government, which has led St. Kitts and Nevis since February of 2015. An election, ladies and gentlemen, looms now in St. Kitts and Nevis. And while we await a date, campaign activity has already been heightened. I recognize that my every word here will be consumed at home. Some will digest, and some will get indigestion. But let me be clear. The CCM, like the BLP, will win all the seats that we contest. Just like you, we are in the love business. Let me be even clearer that this party, the Concerned Citizens Movement, has been and shall remain firmly in the role of kingmaker. For all who have ears to hear, let them hear.
And yes, you had ears to hear, I trust you heard. But many never stopped to think back then that Mark Brantley had already started to plan three things. One, Mark Brantley always knew that he would never become Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, although he still holds that ambition. But he was satisfied to orchestrate who will ascend to that office. Two, Mark Brantley obviously decided back then not to live up or not to live and uphold, rather, the nation's motto, country above self. But instead, he decided to put the Daniel Brantley firm and the Brantley household above country. And three, more recently, and for the reason at two, Brantley devised a unique strategy to sideline every voter on Nevis in particular by delegating power to his political boss, Olivier Janssens, a powerful libertarian financier who would determine how to develop Nevis instead of you, the electorate of Nevis. Mark Brantley therefore embarked upon his devious plan, to use a colloquial term, mash up team unity. And when things were not going his way, Mark Brantley gave Timothy Harris, the then Prime Minister, a deadline to either accept his proposals or face a no confidence vote or a vote of no confidence, whichever you prefer, in the leadership of Timothy Harris. How could the Federation ever forget his infamous and reckless speech, resolve or dissolve or resolve?
My brothers and sisters, let me be clear. One hand cannot clap, and PAM and CCM cannot by themselves save team unity as currently configured if the PLP and its leadership has no interest in resolving the issues that confront us. To this end, and consistent with our ongoing efforts to save our team unity government, the Honourable Sean Richards and I have delivered a written communication to the Honourable Prime Minister, setting out our position for a path forward. We have taken the unprecedented step of putting a deadline of Wednesday, April 20th, 2022 for a response from the Prime Minister, barring which we can only conclude that he and his team have no interest or desire to save this team unity government. We shall therefore know by Wednesday whether we can achieve resolution or whether we face dissolution.
How could we forget that, my Street Talk family? But the rest is history. What we have since that dissolution, then, and the election on 6 August 2022, is a puppet government that serves the interests of some Chinese investors and a dubious group called CS Global, who dictate the level of foreign direct investments into St. Kitts and Nevis. What we also have is a puppet opposition leader who never opposes the ruling government. And Straight Talk has been reliably informed that this opposition leader is secretly controlled and funded by an outside libertarian force with a cryptocurrency fortune. Many speculate that it all started on this multi-million-dollar luxury yacht on which the opposition leader and premier of Nevis was seen projecting the image, my Straight Dog family, projecting the clear image of comfort and a certain belonging, as you can glean from that picture. Straight Talk has not been able, however, to pin down exactly when the political process became transactional, because favors, policies, and appointments were traded in order to make the Kingmaker more influential rather than serving the public good. Sharon Mama Brantley, the wife of the self-proclaimed Kingmaker, remember, became the go-between this libertarian financier Oliver Johnson's, and also enjoyed moments on a multi-million-dollar luxury yacht, where perhaps all the real estate options were finalized. But going beyond all the speculation and getting up to date, my Straight Dog family, it cannot be disputed that the incestuous relationship between the ruling puppet government of Terence Michael Drew and the Chinese through our CBI program presents a significant challenge to regional security. These deep dependencies only create strategic vulnerabilities for the United States, our superpower neighbor, on whom we depend heavily for our tourism, our trade. We depend on the United States heavily for the very food we eat. On the other hand, the self-acclaimed Kingmaker, puppet opposition leader, and Premier Mark Brantley is still trying to convince the population that the Destiny Project is a game changer for economic survival, while bluntly ignoring the definite threat that it poses to Nevisian self-determination. Truth be told, Brantley went to the U.S. on the weekend to meet or have a diasporic meeting. But truth be told, after almost 20 years in politics, what can Mark Brantley give to the people of Nevis, you may ask? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I hear you respond, my Straight Dog family. That's the response I got for you. I asked the question again. What can Mark Brantley give at this time to the people in Nevis? And I hear you say nothing. Absolutely nothing, my Straight Dog family, is what I hear you say. But my Straight Dog family, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley is just feathering the nest of the Brantley family household. After all, Sharon Mama Brantley, just if, God forbids, this Destiny Project is approved, Sharon Mama Brantley stands to benefit over $100 million. How, you may ask? Well, be advised, one more time, that Sharon Mama Brantley is the only real estate agent handling the land purchases for Destiny. Her husband, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, referred to her as the go-between. Go-between. Nice word, isn't it? Go-between Oliver Johnson's and the landowners. And Oliver Johnson did not hesitate setting up his company in Nevis to facilitate that go-between, my straight dog family. History often remembers political leaders not for the promises they made, but for the consequences of the decisions they took. I told you, in 2019, Mark Brantley boldly declared that CCM would be the Kingmaker in the then next general election. Many laughed, my straight dog family. Many laughed. Others dismissed it as another example of political bravado from a man known for making dramatic pronouncements. But those words were not mere rhetoric. Mark Brantley announced a political strategy. Would you believe the morning after the 2020 general election, and he came to St. Kitts and campaigned on the Team Unity platform, his strategy began to unfold. Brantley tried to persuade members of the Team Unity coalition to abandon Timothy Harris. But that effort failed because Sean Richards remained loyal to Harris and refused to support such a move. Lindsey Grant and Johnny Powell, they were like two putas, as we call it in Papimento. But although the coalition survived for 2 more years, the trust that once united did not recover. The departure of Vance Emery, may he rest in peace, but his departure from the federal government removed the calming influence within the cabinet. Political disagreements became more frequent, relationships deteriorated, and unity gradually gave way to division. Soon, Brantley became increasingly vocal about what he described as Nevis receiving its fair share. The CBI program became central to the political debate, and questions about its management and benefits became increasingly public. Then came another controversy. Sean Richards refused to attend cabinet meetings over a dispute involving a police report concerning an incident at the last lap bar, and which included his name. Whether that issue alone justified the political fallout is a matter of opinion, but it undoubtedly exposed the deep fractures within the coalition. Before long, another disagreement emerged, this time over the Alternative Investment Option, AIO, within the Citizenship by Investment Program. Questions were raised regarding the 5,500 shares approved for a proposed prison project. Mark Brantley and Sean Richards found themselves on the same side in opposition to Timothy Harris, and the political conflict intensified. The inevitable result was the collapse of Team Unity and the general elections of 2022. Mark Brantley, the Kingmaker, had succeeded in bringing down the government. But what came next should concern every single citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because following the change in government, the political alliances shifted once again. The Kingmaker, Mark Brantley, appeared to be cultivating a new relationship with the new administration while advancing what has become one of the most controversial proposals in Nevis's modern history, the Destiny Development Project. Some describe it as an unprecedented economic opportunity. Critics see something entirely different. Critics argue that the project catered for 10,000 applicants and based on a family of 4, a spouse and 2 children. This can result in 40,000 new citizens over time. And this would fundamentally alter the demographic, political, and social character of Nevis. And those concerns deserve careful examination because they are at the heart of the current public debate, and many divisions and critics too believe that the long-term implications for the island's identity, governance, and electoral landscape have not been adequately addressed. Whether one supports or opposes Destiny, one fact is undeniable. The people deserve transparency. They deserve honest answers. They deserve to know what commitments are being made today that could shape the future of generations yet unborn. Politics is about trust. We understand that there's a deadline for November. But Terrence Michael Drew do not have the guts, the gall to call elections. He wants to call elections before November so he can give them the freedom to go and commit demographic suicide. But leadership is about protecting your people before protecting your ambitions. And history has shown that political power built on shifting alliances is often temporary. The same Kingmaker who once determined governments now finds that it's the people, not politicians, who ultimately decide when a political era has come to an end. Today, many individuals are asking whether the time has come to turn the page. They are asking whether the Kingmaker's political journey ends now or later. It's not for one politician to decide. That belongs to the people, that decision. Because in a democracy, no individual is bigger than the nation. No political strategy is greater than the will of the people. No ambition should outweigh the future of Nevis. The title of Kingmaker may once have commanded admiration, but history teaches us that kings, kingmakers, and governments all come and all go, but the people remain. And when the people decide that enough is enough, no political calculation, no alliance, no strategy can withstand the verdict of the ballot box. If this truly is the end of the Kingmaker, then let it not be remembered as the fall of one man, but as a moment when the people of Nevis reclaim their right to determine their own future. The role of Mark Brantley in the dissolution of the Team Unity Coalition mirrors the political downfall of a traditional Kingmaker. The end of his tenure within that specific federal government structure concluded in May 2022 with a dramatic political fallout, cabinet firings, and a dissolved parliament. Instead of acquiescing to his kingmakers, Timothy Harris took a scorched earth approach. Facing a historic motion of no confidence brought by his own coalition partners, Harris preemptively dissolved Parliament and stripped Brantley of his federal cabinet position as foreign minister. The bitter split signaled the definitive end of the team unity arrangement, sadly. But while his role as a federal kingmaker ended with the 2022 cabinet purge, it did not end his political career, fortunately for him. But whether Mark Brantley overplayed his hand with the multi-billion-dollar Destiny Project is a central debate dominating political circles in St. Kitts Nevis and beyond. Brantley, through his partnership with Terrence Michael Drew, secured a 25% share of the CBI revenues, backing for the Vance Amory International Airport expansion, and funding guarantees for the Nevis geothermal energy project. However, by aggressively championing the Destiny Project, Brantley has pushed the federal arrangement to its limits, resulting in a stalled development, a lapsed investor deadline, and a constitutional standoff with Bastia. He claims it's a Nevis project. But while Brantley and the Nevis Island administration signed the development agreement and approved it locally, he assumed the federal government would quickly rubber stamp it. Instead, Terrence Michael Drew's administration put the project under intense scrutiny. Bastia has made it clear that while Nevis controls local land use, the federal government controls sovereignty, national security, and immigration, meaning Brantley cannot force this project past the federal experts. Brantley heavily pressured Terrence Michael Drew to speed up federal approval, publicly warning that bureaucratic delays in St. Kitts would derail the project. This tactic failed to move Drew, who firmly stated that timelines would not be dictated by investors or political pressure. Consequently, the strict deadline given by the Destiny developers expired, leaving the entire multi-billion-dollar project, I should say, in limbo and potentially lost. Critics argue Brantley gambled too heavily on an unstable, time-sensitive investor. The ultimate gamble of the Kingmaker, as I conclude, the ultimate survival of the Destiny Project hinges entirely on whether it can function as its own country within its own rules, my Straight Dog family.
Special economic zones, as defined by the United Nations, are geographically delimited areas within which governments facilitate industrial activity through fiscal and regulatory incentives and infrastructure support. If you look at this definition, there are three core elements. And if you only take one thing from this lecture, it's those three elements. It's a geographically delimited zone. You could speak of it as an island within the country. It has got its own set of rules and regulations. And why does it have that? To serve the purposes of a specific economic objectives. That's what we're talking about. A zone set up to achieve business objectives.
An island within the country. To truly satisfy the core business objectives of Oliver Johnson's and his libertarian following, the Special Economic Zone, SEZ, demands a radical level of autonomy. zero taxes, its own currency, independent legal and court frameworks, and absolute regulatory self-governance. Let's not forget that.
What makes a special economic zone special? What gives you the best chances of actually succeeding so that this is not just another Solala project? And one thing I can tell you for sure is it's not enough. It is not enough to put a fence about some random piece of real estate, put up a sign, special economic zone, and think suddenly everybody will come and want to invest in your place. That is simply not enough. For a special economic zone to be successful, you need to go further. How can you do that? There are a couple of success factors of special economic zones. The first factor is it has got special rules, it has got its own autonomy. So it is a system that on purpose and by intention is set up with a set of rules that are different from the surrounding area, with a set of rules that is tailored to making for the best business and increasing the living environment possible, with rules tailored to the specific purpose of the zone.
And my Street Talk family, ironically, that advice came from a consultant hired by Olivier Johnson, Dr. Andres Baumgartner. And he told us that without these distinct rules and sovereign-like independence, the project cannot attract the ultra-wealthy, crypto-driven demographic it is fundamentally built for. A watered-down, federally restricted zone simply will not work. So this reality places Mark Brantley at a dangerous crossroads, having influenced the political landscape of St. Kitts and Nevis for nearly 20 years. It's through his arrogance and bombacity, if that's the word. Mark Brantley's traditional political playbook has run its course, and he has nothing more to offer an electorate looking for sustainable, stable economic models. By anchoring his legacy to Johnson's libertarian enclave, Brantley has made the highest stakes gamble of his career. If the federal government refuses to concede national sovereignty, and if the SEZ is denied the vital autonomy required to make it successful, the venture will inevitably collapse under the weight of its own unfulfilled promises. If that happens, my Street Talk family, we can be quite certain that the Destiny Project will cause the definitive tragic end of the Kingmaker. And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. But let's not keep your eyes off the focus of this Destiny Project. They've gone quiet. Do not allow them to catch us with any hanky-panky by surprise. It's 10 past 9. I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Street Talk family, ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 11 past the 9 o'clock hour, I go to my first call Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I am great.
Oh,
There are still those of us
yep.
who work to overcome corruption and believe it to be possible.
Believe it to be possible. Yep.
I repeat, there are still those of us who work to overcome corruption and believe it to be possible. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. My quotationist from across the Narrows always provide very thought-provoking, relative or relevant quotations that aptly suits our discussions each time. And tonight is no different. There are still those of us who work to overcome corruption and believe it to be possible. So true, my Straight Talk family. At 13 past the 9 o'clock hour, if you have just joined me, welcome. And to inform you that we are, in fact, discussing our thesis for tonight, the Destiny Project, or rather, will destiny cause the end of the Kingmaker? What do you think, my Straight Talk family? Caller, you're live. It's 13 past the 9 o'clock hour. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Abracadabra. I recognize.
Abracadabra, my brother. Good evening. How are you?
I recognize that voice. I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, I'm peaceful myself. I'm doing good. So how are you otherwise? All is well?
God has been good to me, you know.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Take it one day at a time.
I didn't hear nobody say Hugh Hurley got passed. It was rather strange when you come on and saying that I'm listening carefully, want to know who you're talking about. But then I remember when you say Hugh Hurley, I say, oh my, I didn't know. You know, he was a giant back in the days, yes. But
Yes,
you
he
know,
passed on
that's life.
Saturday. I think
Yeah. Mr. Straight Talk, we cannot get mackerel in Philadelphia.
No?
No, from since 2 months ago or maybe 3 months ago, I've been going to the guy and asking him. I didn't know it's Canada they're getting it from, but he said they're not. He ordered so long and it's not coming. So you guys are blessed.
Where you can get it from? And that reminded me I should have posted that.
So I guess I got to get to bring up some food when you come in.
Well, you can just go across to New York in the Bronx. There are,
oh yes, you can go to New York. That's what New York is. New York is good for those things.
It's $5.39 a pound.
Yeah.
My good friend the DJ sent me a price listing. I forgot to post it. Sorry, right?
Okay.
I got two. I got a receipt, but this one was in the Bronx. The other one I think was in Brooklyn. I'm not too certain. It was about $7 per pound, but it's $5.39 in New York, in the Bronx.
Yeah. Well, I know we are Chinese places in the Bronx there, so I will go up there whenever I headed there. Mr. Straight Up, what is going on with our congressman and that power company? Something not right.
Which power company?
I don't. So the people of St. Kitts didn't even listen to you last week to hear what's going on with our congressman and the electric company. I thank Mr. Kitishon Barbajan for letting you know what's going on, because
Okay,
it's amazing what went down there, and this man ain't said nothing.
Oh, you mean the so-called engineer Congress?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Congressman. I call him Congress all the time. I don't call him. I don't know his name. I just
okay, you
use.
call him Congress. Okay.
Yes,
I was
Congressman. I always call him.
I was lost for.
So I have no idea how that something like that happened, and hear him put out, hear him release nothing. He just saying the government, this the government that with the electricity company. So, but he said it was for a month, 1 year. So now you're saying that he got 2 years and still in counting, and he ain't come back to say nothing?
It's almost 2 years, right? Almost 2 years.
I don't know, Mr. Straight Talk. I find it rather strange that something like this go on, that he go there and he say for a 12-month period, and now it gone beyond, and he ain't come back to us just to say nothing. But that's who they is, though. They know that they're good. The body rush them, so they're not going to say nothing. You know, see what happened just now here again with the Canada sending out that thing. And the Prime Minister in St. Lucia recognized what's going on, and he look, I was just say nothing, because he tell himself, you know, it don't concern him. There is good. I don't know, Mr. Straight Talk. I don't know what's going on with our government and its people. They're not doing the duty as they're supposed to do. But you know what? You continue to do what you do. You're doing a wonderful job, my brother. Just continue to stand up strong and do what you have to do. I think I said enough for tonight, so just do what you have to do, my brother. I'll see you when I see you. Be good. Talk to you again. See you when I see you. Abracadabra.
Yes, my brother from another mother. Always glad to hear you. And yes, he's told us this since in 2024. Congress said this to us.
The government has guaranteed full financial absorption of all costs associated with this 12-month Skelec Agreco 6 megawatt rental agreement to the tune of approximately $10.5 million.
I'll play that again for you, my Straight Dog family.
The government has guaranteed full financial absorption of all costs associated with this 12-month Skelec Agreco 6 megawatt rental agreement to the tune of approximately $10.5 million.
Hasn't come back to us. In Barbados, we found out that in 2024 as well, the Barbados BLPC, I think that's the Barbados Light and Power Company, I think that's the right term, rented generators, 11 generators from Agreco for $5 million. Imagine, we rented 6 for $10.5 million. Nobody's saying anything, my Straight Dog family. But the lines are open, my straight, as I've said before, and I'll take and rotate and juggle my emails as well. And this email reads, for every single person who has a small business needs to go out and vote against Labour. We who used to support them can't do it anymore because no money is circulating in the country. Can you imagine Labour supporters voted for July to be the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis because he's a good doctor? Jokers. All know he can resuscitate the country. And when he got it running smoothly from the good economist Timothy. Reads this email. Who said he's a good doctor? Many will question that. Good doctor. What you determine, or how you determine he was a good doctor, is the question we ask. But my Straight Dog family is 21 past the 9 o'clock hour. and we looked at the Kingmaker. And the Kingmaker went to New York on Saturday to meet the diaspora. They started campaigning. One expected elections to be called. But due, for some reason, is holding off. Why? We don't know. We can easily say, nothing will go on, as the people would say. But right now, things are bad. Bad. And what is happening over there in Nevis? Brantley overplayed his hand, as many have suggested. Brantley looked at this multi-billion-dollar Destiny project that we are still debating. And he anticipated that as long as they sign it in Nevis, the federal government would have to sign it. What nonsense. What happened to our national security, immigration, customs? Where does that authority lie? These are questions that have to be answered. But Brantley, through his partnership with Terrence Michael Drew, secured a 25% share of the CBI. But the CBI has moved from nearly $700 million to $100 million. No money. The CBI is not selling. Then you hear Drew today inviting us to the IGS come Tuesday.
My fellow citizens, partners, and friends, I invite you to join us in St. Kitts and Nevis from June 17th to 20th for the Investment Gateway Summit 2026, held under the theme Shared Values, Shared Futures, Building Tomorrow's Global Community. This is a national moment and an opportunity for us to connect, to build, and to move forward together as one people. Wherever you are in the world, I encourage you to come home, not just in presence, but in purpose, to deepen your relationship with the nation you choose and to embrace your place in our shared story.
But he never told us this, my Straight Talk family.
The governor of St. Lucia received official notification from the Embassy of Ireland in Ottawa, Canada, on Friday, June 12, 2026, informing that with effect from Monday, June 15, 2026, nationals of St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Nicaragua will require entry visas for entry into Ireland. This visa introduction applies to holders of ordinary, diplomatic, and service passports. Transit visas will also be required for St. Lucia nationals intending to transit through Ireland. Transitional arrangements will be in place for nationals of St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Nicaragua who have already booked travel to Ireland before June 15, 2026, and will enter and depart from Ireland before July 14, 2026. providing that they are in possession of the requisite travel documents. This includes a valid passport and airline tickets. Nationals who have existing travel arrangements to Ireland are advised to check the Immigration Service Delivery website for further information. Reason: the introduction of this visa requirement on St. Lucian nationals is part of an ongoing process to keep Ireland aligned with the practices in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Northern Ireland and the Schengen area. Costs: the standard Irish visa application fees are single entry $100 Canadian, multiple entry $165 Canadian, transit visa $45 Canadian. Applicants will be required to courier the documents to the Embassy of Ireland in Ottawa, Canada for processing. Processing time is estimated at 8 to 10 weeks for all visa categories.
Not one word we've heard from Drew. But he's having his investment gateway summit. But doesn't Drew expect investors to look for transparency, credibility, and confidence? But let's go to the lines, my Straight Talk family, and say hello to this caller. Hello, caller.
That is good night.
Good night, my brother. How art thou?
Oh, not too bad. I'm here listening as usual.
Thank you.
And first, I always want to give God thanks for life. And give God thanks for you coming on and in press the federation with where you come in with. Because patches, he and Sony good in this country. Sink it now in flames. Every day fire burning up and down the place. Animals and all falling down because no grass get to eat. Patches in the landfill and all get fed up. I hear the landfill explode today. Flames and smoke, black smoke all over Basque today and all over the country. Patches, because of that, because the lot of lies these leaders were we elect telling. The lot of lies Patches. And you know what the Bible says about lies. We ain't getting the truth. Everything that the Prime Minister come on and any forum and he talks to Parliament, he gone got about how the opposition there for 7 years and this, that, and water this and water that. Water wasn't the thing and water uplift and all kind of thing. Like people stupid or something. But is these people need to go. The longer these people stay in government, the more things it's going to destroy. Because they have nothing to offer for the people of this country. And with the Destiny product with Mark here, that is that left to the Nevis people in. Because the Nevis people in the street, that this thing will never benefit the young people and the middle-aged people. Patches. Because if you can bring in some people in a country, so call them investors, I call them citizenship by investment, and you can give them a zone out land for them, zone out a place for them in Nevis. 10,000 people. Because they're going to come in up to 45,000 people. Patches, where they're going to find place in Nevis for the young generation and the young people that are coming and work. So this is a new Nevis and a new generation coming to Nevis. So Nevis people, you all stop, look and listen. Listen to these two administrations. They run out of ideas. They have nothing to tell the people. Dr. Joe and the Labour Party campaign said this and campaign said that campaign said the other. And up to now, nothing could lift off the gun in this country. All we getting just heat and the load of lies every day. And this load of heat just pelting down from all the gun. In the sky. That is what I wonderful. If I get back. The God bless you and keep you. And people, you all want to better. And you could call in correct when you call in. Call in from the program and say what you got to say. Because it's all of it suffering. Your children suffering, your grandchildren suffering. Soon we got be landless. Because it comes that they want to bring foreigners over us here in this country. As soon as a foreigner reach here, he doesn't get a job.
Okay.
But you have a wonderful night. I can get back.
Have a wonderful night as well, and always thank you for your contribution, Mr. Politics. Never afraid to let your voice be heard. And the Kingmaker has already made his commitment to his boss, Olivier Johnson. Imagine this, my Street Dog family. Imagine this. Look at our premier sneaking out to his boss. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
That is good. That is good night.
Good night, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm great. Patches, you know, I'm not afraid to call my name because it is mine. My name is Austin Coker Patches. And I am looking at something going on here in St. Kitts. And Patches, allow me just about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Patches, I believe at our hospital, we are having too much of unnecessary debt. And I said that to say this, Patches. Nobody is doing nothing about it. And I want to believe that you, Patches, might have known that even a doctor last year made a statement. I can call the doctor name, but I won't call her name. About too many unnecessary debts here in the Federation. Patches, let me say this to you. I do not intend to bash Dr. June, but I want you to get the essence of what I'm speaking about. Patches, I work at the hospital for a few years well. And me, Austin Coker, join with a few doctors. I join with a few doctors in the A&E department. At that time, Unity was in power. And everybody knows that me is a strong supporter of the PAM party, which was part of Unity. And I joined with the doctors then to demonstrate to have a stick out at JNF for better condition. And Dr. Ju was part of it. And I am now disappointed with him being the Minister of Health and the behavior at the hospital under his watch is way worse. Because if me risk my job with him and other doctors who support the Labour Party, and I can say this, I don't think that she would reflect me calling her name. They penalize Sharon Archibald, Washington Archibald daughter, because she's one of the person who was at the forefront. They penalize her, you know. And I'm saying, Dr. June, I have reported several things to Curtis Martin, and he's not taking no heed. You hold the health sector in your hand while you have it only too much unnecessary debt. I keep saying it on the program with the Chico, and I bring it here now because it's bothering me. Why it's bothering me? I don't know when it's going to fall in my house. Dr. June, you know I'm not lying on you, nah, no one. Because I was part of it. Please, Dr. June, take stock of the health care here in St. Kitts. Patches, good night. Thank you.
Good night, my brother. We've heard you loud and clear. I'm sure everyone did. But let's go back to the lines. I'll come back to that. But caller, sorry about that. Caller,
you.
Hello, caller.
A pleasant good evening.
Pleasant evening to you, my dear.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself? Sounds like
I'm giving God thanks for every day that I get up.
we all do. We all ought to.
I give him thanks.
We all ought to.
Matthew, let me ask you a question. They bring in a lot of dead body and the boat here in Sinkit. I would like to know if they don't bury or they had them soaking in the water for us to drink. Because we in Sinkit and Nevis ain't normal. We ain't acting like we have sense. Right now, yeah. It seems to me like everybody gone power. You gonna tell me so many things going on in this place here? And we walk normal. I listen a gentleman today and freedom. And he was talking about the death in St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, he said he gonna go to Nevis to check Nevis one, but he was talking about the death. And right now, we don't have no money, nothing tally in a St. Kitts to the pen pan. I think if we got 2 more years, our year and a half under that guy, St. Kitts done. He got a museum down here so looking terrible. And he gone up in a dead people yard, go build museum. You could tell me that he had good, it can be good. If you left that downtown and gone up, they go building a people place, your head can be good. And I want to know if he can hear. He deaf? He can hear. Because me hear him say, where you overseas and what's that, you must come back home and let me go bill. What we going to bill for? We not got money. All the money done. Every minute they go on traveling, and when they go traveling, who nobody watch for? I go in the Davis Hotel and watch that. So what are we going to build? We here call home people to do. Not to come home because he seemed to me like he can't hear good. He went to the meeting with the man and he said the man from St. Lucia come out and tell us what's going on, and up to now he ain't tell us nothing, and he attacked about people must come home the 17th to come bill. If he can't bill what in a St. Kitts here right now, what else he going to go bill? Lord, 4 hours. I believe those dead people is in the water soaking and we drinking it. Because I don't need from people are watching that, and he got to be the water. But anyhow, I ain't gonna let the water betray me. I'm keeping my eyes on the ball because they ain't ready yet. So that's what I believe them people here. Something wrong with us in St. Kitts and Nevis. We ain't connected. We ain't connected at all. May I tell you. I can see you. If I get back here later, I will come back because that one over Nevis over there, he's going to pay, you know. He's going to pay the match up team unity and got us here in a stress and believe that them they could sleep comfortably in them house. No. He ain't gonna work. But did you have a pleasant night?
Have a pleasant night as well, my dear. I see those dimples. I heard your pain. Yes, I've heard your pain. And yes, they ought to pay. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Am I hearing this caller or not? Okay. Seem to have lost that caller. But you know, my Street Dog family, we focus on the Kingmaker. The puppet opposition leader, I call him, and Premier, who is trying to convince us as a people that the Destiny Project will be a game changer for the economic survival, but ignoring the definite threat it poses to individual self-determination. But I'll get back to that caller. You're live. Hello, caller?
Mr. Libert,
My dear.
this is Nevis people's turn. Everybody bawling for the sky high electricity bill. And Mark Brantley haven't come on the ear and said nothing. See you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Yes, caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay, let's try this other caller. This caller not listening to me. Are you there, caller? Caller, you're live.
Hi, Patches. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, my dear.
Marsha here.
Marsha, I thought I recognized the voice. I haven't heard you for ages.
Oh, well, every night I listen to you on Mondays and Thursday. I'm still here.
You're still there, Marsha. Good to hear you. Turn your equipment down. I want.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
I want the whole world to hear you. Are you there?
Patches?
Yes, my dear.
Yes, I want to sing piece of Elimat song tonight. The poor can't take no more. That's a cry from shore to shore. Patches, I just want to say, I'm calling on the Minister of National Security tonight. Because if you get a ticket in this time of inflation, I think that if you get a ticket for a seat belt or some sort of any traffic, I don't think that you're supposed to pay late fee. In this time of inflation, where electricity bill is very high, water bill is very high, food stuff is very high, we cannot take it no more. Why are the Minister of National Security need to come down on this and stop charge people late fee? This is a crime. And Patches, I want to touch base on that man from Nevis, Big Teeth. I could recall, I want you to play the tape when Big Teeth was saying that Douglas Hall, he done so for 20 years and he need to go. Well, Big Teeth done so for more than 20 years, so who gonna run him out of the government now? I'm calling on people to speak out. You see, when you speak out on them, they victimize you in many ways, different ways, on your jobs, your current bill, and your water bill, and you tax and different things. But I am not going to stand here tonight and going forward and be muzzled by nobody, because it's freedom of speech. So I am calling on the Minister of National Security tonight to correct this thing, because I don't see, if you get a ticket and you don't have the money to pay it on time, you have to pay a $50 late fee. That is nonsense, and this is highway robbery. And Patrice, I want to admonish you. You have a lot of attributes in this federation, and you cannot, nobody, neither PAM, PLP, Labour, nor CCM, nor NRP should wait until somebody dead to give them the flowers. You know, I was driving on Allwood Bay yesterday, me and my daughter, and I was telling my daughter, say, this God bless Patches for this road that I can drive and keep my head straight. I don't have to look up to see if any stone rolling down an old road bay. Kudos to your Patches for a job well done.
Thank you.
You have done all kind of things here in the Federation, and I think, without a shadow of doubt, that they should make you something big in this country. They cannot wait until it's too late to say, oh, Patches this and Patches that. People need to give people the flowers while they are alive, while they are alive and well. And this is something going on in the Federation that they need to look into and stop. Wait until people dead to give them the flowers when they pass. Last thing before go, and I think that the whole Federation, they need to rename the streets. I think they should name Allwood Patches Libard Highway or Allwood Bay, wherever they want to do it. I think they should name that after you. Because I could recall when I was overseas, I think it's either in July or August, I was overseas when I heard that a big stone rolled down and knocked down the guy, killed the guy from Newtown. But thanks be to God that you fixed the problem and we can now drive safe on Old Road Bay. I just speed when I go Old Road Bay. And once I got Kunta speed, I have to drive and coop and look up to see if any stone drop down. But thank God for Patches Libard, for a man like you with a vision to fix Old Road Bay. Long live Patches Libard. And you have a good night. And be careful, my cousin, because the wicked people are everywhere. And you have a good night and be careful.
Have a good night as well.
I will get back in if I want, but I'm still here. And every night, sometimes people meet me in town and say, you're not calling in? I'm still here every night to listen to you, Monday and Thursday. But it's when I speak, when I want to speak, I come on and I speak.
Okay.
So you will have to sell Patches and, God will see you through. But I prayed for you and you will come through.
Thank you.
God will see you through because you have a lot of attributes here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you very much.
But God will see you through. But I know I'm ranting for them to name Allwood Bay or for you, Patches. You have a good night and be safe.
Have a good night as well, my Straight Talk family. And, you brought back some memories there. I remember that young man, Molly, who died because of rock fall from that hill. I believe it was a Sunday afternoon, young Molly. Caller, are you there? Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay. This caller is not answering the telephone. Yes, we did, in fact, what I call build resilience across Old Road Bay. As I made the point strongly, I could recall, don't like talking about myself, but I could recall going to a budget session, estimates, they called estimates. When this lady, I asked if that Old Road Bay project wasn't part of our public works budget. I asked the director then. And without allowing the director to whom I posed the question, without allowing him to respond, this good lady, whose name I shall not call, intercepted and looked at me as the minister with responsibility for roads. And she said, Old Road Bay was not a priority. And I said, what? And she repeated it. Old Road Bay was not a priority. I didn't know how to absorb that comment. And I had to react. Obviously, I had to react. And I asked her, how many more people must die across Old Road Bay before it becomes a priority? My colleague said I was a little harsh on her. I did not believe so. But she said Old Road Bay was not a priority. When before, Old Road Bay was in fact separated from the network because of hurricane. But that's another time for that discussion. But let's go to the lines. I call you live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, it seems as though I'm having some difficulty. Are you there, caller? Okay, it seems as if I'm having some difficulty with my overseas line. Let me sort that out. It's not the callers. It seemed to be my overseas line. So let's get that sorted out once and for all. But yes, this technocrat said to me that Old Road Bay was not a priority. I couldn't believe what I heard. But in fact, we got the approval and we got that road done. And I know how some people feel, because when I drive down there at times myself, because I travel to Old Road Bay quite a lot, you know, in my time of going towards the countryside. As a matter of fact, I have a daughter born in Old Road. Some people may or may not know. So I frequented Old Road quite often. I had a brother who lived in Old Road, Doc. May his soul rest in peace as well. But that's for another time. The caller before, though, Austin, raised the question about the hospital. And I'm always of the view that medical doctors, from the empirical data before us, we've had two medical doctors who are ministers of health. Asim Martin, one, and Terence Drew, another. Ironically, both of them studied in Cuba. But Asim Martin was one of the worst ministers of health ever to serve in that capacity. Drew is following fast behind him. He gives us a good talk. That's all he gives us, a good talk. And nothing else. It's 6 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. I must apologize to my overseas callers. I'm trying to sort this out. For some reason, I must apologize to those who tried to call this line, and for some reason, after my first call, I never got another one on this overseas line. And I'm trying to make sure I get it up and functional before we bring down the curtain tonight. But you may have just joined us, and we are looking at our thesis for tonight: will destiny cause the end of the Kingmaker? As I said, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley is the Kingmaker. Said he was the sheriff as well. But he tries to convince us that the Destiny Project is a project that will change the landscape of Nevis, provide economic survival. But he bluntly ignores the fact that it is a definite threat, or the definite threat, I should say, it poses to Nevisian self-determination. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Patches,
So,
I want to pick up from where Marsha left off. And she said, give people their flowers while they are alive. And I want to be the first person to do that. Patches, back then at JNF, I want to say publicly, the stewardship at JNF under the leadership of Metron Finley Daly and the operation manager Larnett Adams and one Gail Cranston. Patches, nobody could have crossed the line with Metron Daly Finley. She was very stern, along with her support team, Sister Williams, Sister Jack, Sister Folans, and Sister Isaac, who was the assistant Metron. From the time they leave JNF, Patches, JNF look like it just gone straight down the drain. Nobody doing nothing about it. Nobody, absolutely. So I want to say kudos to them while they are alive still. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go back to the lines and take this caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Leber, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, I want to join with the female caller to thank you for what you did on the old road day. I passed through there on Friday and I was very, very pleased with what I saw. But I also want to thank you for the second cruise space. I mean, we have seen what the vision was. I know that the Labour Party spoke about it, they never did it. But you came in and you executed it and they criticized it. And we are now reaping the benefit from it that they're boasting about it. And then thirdly, I want to thank you for bringing awareness to this Destiny project that Brantley and his family, his wife in particular, want to bring upon the people of Nevis. What is interesting is that Johnson wants to have this development. And Johnson do not have the respect to really address the people on this matter. He came out one time and spoke on a podcast. We do not know where he was. And he made it abundantly clear that the reason why he wants this zone for himself is because the rest of St. Nevis is high crime. And so he wants an area where he could be separated from us and secure it for himself and 10,000 families to live. And so Johnson presents Destiny as a home owners association, not as a business mecca, but the one that plays for themselves. And I cannot see for the life of me how anybody in St. Kitts and Nevis will support Destiny coming to St. Kitts and Nevis. And according to the Premier, there will be a separate entity from the rest of Nevis. And we must look at Destiny as one entity, the rest of Nevis as another entity, and the two of us existing together. Destiny, according to the Premier of Nevis, will have its own special laws. And part of the own laws that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and Nevis will have absolutely zero oversight as to what takes place over there. How could anybody who claim they love St. Kitts and Nevis will support this to come upon not just Nevis, but upon St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yes, yes.
And so all those who are on the fence, I'm begging you, please, let us save our country. Listen to the calypso from King Astro. Listen to the calypso from Kingmaker. Listen to the calypso from King Arrow. All of them as they plead with us to save St. Kitts and Nevis, not for ourselves as the old ones, but for our children and our children's children. Thank you for keeping this thing in the limelight, and we'll continue to go together until we see the back of destiny. But I am absolutely disappointed in Dr. Terence Drew that he has this thing before him for so long. He has this committee report for so long, and do not think that it is necessary for him to say to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis what is in this development agreement, how detrimental it will be to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and therefore we cannot support this, where he, as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, will have no oversight over a new entity that will be established on Nevis. How could he sit down there and has not said anything about it? Has he sold us out too, like Mark Bantley and his wife? That's a question we must answer. Thank you.
Well said, my dear brother. Thanks a lot for your contribution. Yes, have they sold us out? You must determine whether it's good or bad. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Thank you. Good night, Brother Patrick.
Good night, sir.
Okay. Had to use multiple phones. Good night to all listeners of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. As I've heard the cries from citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm speaking to you from the diaspora, narrowed down to New York. All information that we are conveying to you all, it is because, and it came from the cry of the true people who are feeling the hardship, the inflation by this government, this administration. They had tried, they continue to try to pollute you all with their propaganda. Brainwash, as the lady said, we are para. Election is coming up, and they continue to try with bribes. Things going good. What is going good? If there is anyone who can say things are going good in the Federation, it has to be those are party line labor rights. Stop being fooled. The Premier of Nevis is coming or came to New York. What he came here to do? What he want to say? Do not come here to campaign and rally no one. It is foolishness you are coming with. You and the Prime Minister are partners in crime. Y'all can't come up here and pollute us. You already pollute those people in St. Kitts, and we are helping you all fight this battle. And I can't understand how ungrateful to some people saying, we stay where you are. You have to be in the country 6 months before election in order for us to participate. What can you all do? You all can't do nothing, and you all are just overrun by these foolish thieving politicians, kleptocrats. And we must not help. It is our country too. And we don't want our country to be failed. Let me step across the narrows again. That SSV is going to create civil war. amongst the Nevisians and these people that coming in. Just wait until they settle in. If this happens, prevention is better than cure. Willful waste is a woeful want. We can't speak to you stronger than how we could speak because you all are not babies. You all are grown people with understanding. When are you all going to stand up for your right along with the help you are getting from us over here in the diaspora?
Okay.
Take heed. Thank you, Brother Patches.
Thank you very much. And I do apologize for my overseas callers who weren't getting in earlier, but the lines are up and running now, and I'll get you sorted out. Good night, Brother Patches reads this email. I would suggest that Brantley remains a kingmaker in his own narcissistic mind. Beg your pardon. The new king he's making, however, is Olivier Johnson's. Whatever the angle one applies to the Destiny Project, the end result remains the same: an egregious, willful sellout of his own people to satisfy his self-interest. The federal delay is particularly peculiar. Dr. Jew was clearly on board with Brantley and Johnson's at the beginning, but it was he who tabled the SSZ bill in Parliament. To have accepted that role, he would likely have known that it was a bill drafted by Destiny themselves to facilitate their very own development. Whether he knew the true extent of the demands that would be made of him in the development agreement, we can only speculate. First, there was a concerted effort to distance SSZ from Destiny. Next came the plea that he be kept out of Nevis's affairs, albeit the very SSZ legislation he moved had placed him in absolute control. As the petition continued to heat up, as the kitchen, continued to heat up, with the NIA's signing of the Destiny Agreement, he constituted an ad hoc committee to review the very same SSZ legislation he had tabled. Another obvious indication that the SSZ was not conceptualized locally. The committee was to meet to review the legislation, to amend or tighten it. Drew said he would go back to the Parliament as many times as necessary to strengthen the legislation. With public opinion boiling the narrows enough to evaporate off the seawater and join both land masses with a bridge of salt, Drew installed another committee, the Independent Oversight Committee. This latest committee actually received the development agreement. The committee reviewed it, gave a very negative assessment of the Attorney General, and sent a letter to the NIA outlining the concerns. Brantley, armed with his usual arrogance, said he felt the committee's concerns amounted to federal overreach and sent a letter back. Upon receipt of that letter, the committee was shocked to find that they received a letter with the NIA's heading but written clearly by Destiny. In that letter, if the 2,000-page document had not spelled it out clearly enough, the letter did. They wanted the estate within a state and expect to have it. Patches, we are in serious times. Jew is at a crossroads. He could choose the path for us, or he could choose the path for Destiny. Sadly, my confidence in Jew doing the right thing for us is hovering around zero. Have a blessed night, my friend. All the best with your trip to Washington. Reads this email. This other email. Let's go to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patches Megan.
Yes, sorry.
Patches, that's why I tell the people of this country, listen to Straight Talk with Ian Patches Liebert. Straight Talk is the only program in this federation of Think It Nevis, bringing the issues and bringing the topic to the people of this country, and bringing the cry, what's going on in this two different administration in Think It Nevis, Patches, I tell people, and if we allow the country to go underground and this present administration we in. Patches, everybody gonna fight to get it back. This gun, that, and that gun, that. You see, people can't pay the water bill. People can't pay the light bill. People can't pay the different things. When you go to the supermarket, the food in the supermarket, high sky. People are stop, look and listen. Changes, different government, different parties there to vote for when the election comes. Don't underestimate nobody. You don't know who could do it for this country. You don't know who could do it for this country, people. Or Pam no nobody, PLP no nobody, and all this kind of ignorance. We don't want to hear that. We want when the election time come around 2-3 political parties in this country running, as far as I can turn, and the people go out and vote for individual candidate where you know don't do the best for your country. Not somebody going there and fatten themselves, full the belly, and when they don't full the belly, they offer you all kind of things and then come tell you about shinky people like a handout. What handout people could like when government get in and helping poor people? What is a handout? That is the thing about it. When you don't promise people, you're going to give them $1,500. Give them this, give them that. Or you're telling them they look in handout. And people, because they're supporting the government, are supporting the party, they themselves want help us, they themselves can't pay the bill. And that type of people look in handout because they're supporting the party. People, let me stop, look and listen and see what's going on in our country. We got to get conscious. Good night to my brother from Nevis here in Fountain. Good night, Cabo. I was impressed with you. Okay. You have a wonderful night again, Patis. Get home safe.
Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful night as well. Thanks for your contribution. And thank this caller for holding call you live. Hello, caller?
Yes, Patches. Yeah, Patches, good evening, man.
Good evening, my brother. Sorry to have kept you holding so long.
Hello, man.
Yes.
Yeah, big up the man Cabo over there in Fountain for real.
Okay.
He has continually cried for a financial injection for small businesses to strive and to improve their businesses along the way, to keep the economy going. You haven't got that yet. Patches, man, like I said, every night I come on here, it's so much to talk about. You don't even know where to start sometimes. But the poor people are crying out. Yeah, Patches, behind the scenes, there was a report that the Juliet administration is planning to build a third cruise pier for home porting. And you know what that deal is all about. Really and truly, trying to show you up and your pier you built, the second pier. I don't know if you heard that yet through the grapevines.
No, I haven't heard it though.
Yeah, but is that pier necessary at this point or not? Did they get back to that million passengers pre-COVID?
Well, that's a rhetorical question. But you can answer the question by just looking at what they call the utilization factor of the piers, how often the piers are used, how many ships come alongside, and that will answer your question easily. You have a ship, sometimes one ship per week, 2 ships a week. Very rare you have a 4-ship day for now because
definitely.
Definitely.
Is there demand? Is there demand for a third pier? And can the dance pay for the lights along that lines, right?
Well, first of all, they have to do the upland development because the second cruise pier, the final phase in terms of the arrival building is not completed for 4 years, and the money was left there. So I don't know what the minister would say about that. So I don't know if you need a new pier for home porting. You need good airport facilities and good facilities at the terminal.
Yeah, the people. Yeah, that's Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
And hotel
Thanks for your
rooms,
input.
hotel rooms if they're overnighting. I don't think they're overnighting, there, but
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Because for the music festival coming up, the minister herself, Marsha Henderson, was on Freedom Radio one day, and she said that they are short of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And me personally, I have a friend who had mentioned to me that on the Nevis side, he thinks that they should have built some more economical, middle cost like hotels or something like that there. And that was a good idea as well, because if a man can't stay at the Marriott, which is $500 a night US, and they come down for the festival and any other time period during the year, they could have probably come over to Nevis and pay $100 and something for a room per night and still shuttle over and enjoy any events on St. Kitts. That was a good idea in my estimation. You know what I mean? We don't see that type of development happening in Nevis. But a lot of monies came over. We don't see where the money went. And yes, of course, we don't get the transparency. And like I keep telling you, man, these two fellas that's in there, the premier and the prime minister, they don't have the opposition. So they're going to run away with the reckless spending and all manner of evil to those two beautiful islands. When all those people come in with that Destiny Project over there, 10,000 applicants for passports, potentially 40,000 new residents, the place will be overrun immediately. Everything will change on Nevis. The political system and the political makeup over there will change. And the contention for me will be, like you said tonight, they don't have to be on the ballots. They already have the political influence. Man, Patches, man, I thank you for bringing the information as much as you do. But the people got to digest this stuff, man, and make their own determination. It's not looking good on St. Kitts and Nevis. And the poor people are increasingly now starting to struggle more. And the only thing these governments are going to do to us as poor people is increase the taxes on us.
Okay.
We already done seen that happening over on Nevis. The lady said there's the increase, the kilowatt per hour increase on the electric bill. The premier did that before he took that trip over to New York on the weekend. But we, the poor people, are going to pay the taxes and keep up the big conglomerates and the rich. The rich are going to enjoy our sea, sand, and sun, and we will be sitting there suffering. It's time for nationalization. The people got to come together, and the only thing we need is unity, and we need to make that statement to these crooked, corrupted politicians.
Okay.
And I'll leave it there, Patches, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your contribution. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night. Me again, Marsha.
Okay, Marsha.
This what I'm about to say is fact, not fiction. You have an officer. She get her letter. Patches. She work in the work. I don't want to say exactly where she work in, but because she's a PLP, they give her a letter and send her home. Wittingly, it was victimization, because the week after they call her back in and apologized to her and said, I'm sorry for what I did to you and all those kind of things. I want to know, when people talking about Lebanon are victimized, they are victimizing people. Yes, they are victimizing people, Patches, and I have this fact, because the person gonna come and you and get in touch with you and gonna give you the letter, and they're gonna say wherever Thursday come in. Patches, I have a bomb to drop, but I am not gonna drop it until next week Thursday, because timing is important. Because when you're ready to close off. But Patches, I think that you need to finish to start 11 o'clock, because this is the time. The election season is in the air, and it's 3. So I think you need to round up at 11 instead of 10. I'm saying this again. Patches, that they gave this girl her letter because she's a PLP.
Okay.
And because they know that that was wrong, because she could have taken them to the court, they call her back in and now the officer is working.
Okay. Okay, Marsha.
So I could have never got to sleep tonight unless I release this out of my mind.
Okay, there.
So that's why I call back Patty. So have a good night. And I want to say good night to all of those, my friends in the diaspora. They know who they are. Keep on pushing. Diaspora, keep on and get many people to come on board. Okay, Patty, thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot for your contribution. As we're going to wind down tonight's programming, because, yes, I always give you the extra time, as I know how important it is to what I call vent your feelings. It's very important. But as we wind down tonight's programming, and we looked at the destiny, and we asked the question, as a matter of fact, will destiny cause the end of the Kingmaker? And it should, because while the self-declared Kingmaker, Mark Brantley, and the Nevis Island administration signed the development agreement and approved it locally, they wrongfully assumed that the federal government would quickly rubber stamp it. But you know, my Straight Dog family, Mark Brantley, as we did make mention some programs ago, the very legislation he seconded, he consented as well to certain matters as it relates to the Constitution and issues in Nevis. But whether one supports or opposes destiny, one fact is undeniable. The people deserve transparency, and the people deserve honest answers. And while Mark Brantley, my Straight Dog family, while Mark Brantley had his plans, he had his plans years ago. Brantley devised a unique strategy to sideline every voter on Nevis by delegating power to his political boss, Olivier Johnson's, a powerful libertarian financier, who would determine how to develop Nevis instead of the electorate of Nevis. You know, Mark Brantley, my Straight Dog family, focus on not a country, but he decided back then not to live and uphold the nation's motto, country by self. But instead he decided to put the Daniel Brantley firm and the Brantley household above the country. That's what he did. And until we understand that, we may not understand many of his moves. But no ambition should ever outweigh the future of Nevis. None. Because in a democracy, no individual is bigger than the nation. No political strategy is greater than the will of the people. But history teaches us that kings, kingmakers, and governments all come and go, but the people remain. And when the people decide that enough is enough, no political calculation, no alliance, and no strategy can withstand the verdict of the ballot box. My people, an election is imminent. Let's start to think. Don't think colors. Think reality. Let us remember that it is time to end the Kingmaker. Let it not be remembered as a fall of one man, Mark Brantley, but let it be remembered as the moment when the people of Nevis, and by extension the people of St. Kitts, reclaimed, my Straight Talk family, reclaimed their right to determine their own future. Let us remember that. Caller, I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Can you use it? I can't afford any more.
Yes, I'll take 30 seconds.
Oh.
Listen.
Yes.
Dr. Joe Angat Wilkin represents the greatest danger to St. Kitts and Nevis. When these guys bring this destiny proposal here, we were told by Brantley that the legislation was drafted in the Attorney General's office.
Yes.
He agreed. He said that.
I remember that, yes.
But it is clear that this thing was not drafted because Mark Brantley said the people of Destiny are the ones who demanded, asked for the legislation, SSV. Yes. July 12th, the year before, they had nothing before them. August by August, that legislation was in Parliament. There is no way that these people draft this thing together, Patrick. And so therefore, Terence Drew, the Attorney General, and the Premier of Nevis colluded and brought on the greatest hoax upon the people of Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, and they represent the greatest danger to St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you.
I agree. Well said, my Straight Dog family. I'm happy I took that call. It's a nice way to end tonight. I saw the number ringing, so I took it. Because the ultimate survival of the Destiny Project, and based on our last caller's contribution, it hinges entirely on whether it can function as its own country with its own rules. And even the consultant hired by Johnson's said this.
Special economic zones, as defined by the United Nations, are geographically delimited areas within which governments facilitate industrial activity through fiscal and regulatory incentives and infrastructure support. If you look at this definition, there are three core elements. And if you only take one thing from this lecture, it's those three elements. It's a geographically delimited zone. You could speak of it as an island within the country. It has got its own set of rules and regulations. And why does it have that? To serve the purposes of a specific economic objectives. That's what we're talking about. A zone set up to achieve business objectives.
To truly satisfy the core business objectives of Oliver Johnson's and his libertarian following, the Special Economic Zone, SEZ, demands a radical level of autonomy, zero taxes, its own currency, independent legal and court frameworks, and absolute regulatory governance. Could we allow that, my Straight Dog family?
What makes a special economic zone special? What gives you the best chances of actually succeeding so that this is not just another Solala project? And one thing I can tell you for sure is it's not enough. It is not enough to put a fence about some random piece of real estate, put up a sign, special economic zone, and think suddenly everybody will come and want to invest in your place. That is simply not enough. For a special economic zone to be successful, you need to go further. How can you do that? There are a couple of success factors of special economic zones. The first factor is it has got special rules, it has got its own autonomy. So it is a system that on purpose and by intention is set up with a set of rules that are different from the surrounding area, with a set of rules that is tailored to making for the best business and increasing the living environment possible, with rules tailored to the specific purpose of the zone.
And yes, without these distinct rules and sovereign-like independence, the project cannot attract the ultra-wealthy, crypto-driven demographic it is fundamentally built for. A watered-down, federally restricted zone simply will not work. So this reality places Mark Anthony Graham Brantley at a dangerous crossroads. Having influenced the political landscape of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not in a good way, for nearly 20 years, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley's traditional political playbook has run its course. He has nothing more to offer an electorate looking for sustainable, stable economic models. He is loyal to his boss. He has anchored his legacy to Johnson's libertarian enclave. Look at him sneaking onto that boat to go see his boss. But Mark Anthony Graham Brantley has made the highest stakes gamble of his career. And if the federal government refuses to concede national sovereignty, and if the SEZ is denied the vital autonomy required to make it successful, the venture will inevitably collapse under the weight of its own unfulfilled promises. We can't allow Mark Brantley to get away. If that happens, we can be quite certain that the Destiny Project will cause the definitive tragic end of the Kingmaker. And that's what the entire country is looking for. After 20 years, Mark Brantley has nothing else to offer. He must go. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank you, the many viewers, the listeners, those who call, those who send emails. Just remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Remember as well, my Straight Talk family, that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light.